friends, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about books I want to read this February. We're already, what day is it? The 5th? So we're already 5 days into February. February is my favorite month, also because it's my birth month, but I'm excited to tell you about the books I want to read. Some of these I've already read. One of them I've already read, but I've started a few. And so I'm excited to talk to you about what I want to read this February. Let's get into it. This is the stack of physical books. There's a few that are not in here because I'm going to read them on my Kindle, like via Libby. Oh. Okay. So the first book I want to talk about is Vow of Thieves by Mary Pearson. I've already read that. It was the first book I read in February. I devoured it. I read Dance of Thieves in December, and it was like I started it late at night after a friend's wedding, and I devoured the whole thing, which I needed to be sleeping, but I stayed up till 2 a.m. finishing it. It was not good, but I loved that duology, and the second book was so cute, and I'll talk about it in my wrap up at the end of the month, but I absolutely loved that one. Another book that I'm wanting to read this month, the next book on my list for this year, is Happy Place by Emily Henry. Not on my list for this year, on my list for this month. Although this was on my 24 Reads for 2024 list. But yes, I kind of picked this up in the summer because I had been reading all of Emily Henry's books. And I picked this one up. And then I was the summer was ending. And I was I feel like this is such a spring. Emily Henry books are spring summer books. And it was becoming fall, and I was I want to read The Secret History. It's my tradition. I always read it as fall's beginning. It's my favorite book. But I decided to just sit this one down and pick it up again when the vibes and the season was right for it. So I'm really excited to read this because I feel I love Emily Henry's romances, and I feel they're very February, springtime vibes, getting into the spring, and so I'm very excited to read this book this month. Another romance I want to read this month, The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I've not read any of her books, and I've heard wonderful things. My friend Carly, who's not as big a reader as I am, she read this and she loved it, but I like the vibes it's giving. It's kind of giving People We Meet on Vacation. I mean, not really, but kind of. I don't know. I think it's cutie though, and I'm really excited to read it this month. Yeah, February is the month of romances, evidently. The next book that I want to read, I don't have a physical copy, so I'll put a picture here. It's Love Redesigned, and I honestly don't know a lot about this one, but I know it's a romance, and I saw it recommended at multiple Barnes & Nobles, and so I just think that it's another good one to add to that list of books I'm going to read in February. I'm very heavily focusing in on the romances this month because I'm oh, I love love. The next book on the list for this month is Powerless by Lauren Roberts, which it took me forever to find a physical copy, and I got it, and I was waiting for the right time. I've had it for 2 weeks, and I'm excited to read this month. It's definitely happening this month. I feel once I started it, it's gonna be I devour it all at once. But look how pretty she is. I'm very excited to read this book. And this is fantasy, which is my genre. So very excited about this one. The next book that I want to read this month is Daisy Hates. It's part of the Magnolia Park series, which I need to finish Magnolia Parks. I am listening to it on audiobook. It's what I listen to when I go on my walks. So maybe I'll listen to Daisy Hates on audiobook too. Although I've been getting the feeling as I've been listening to Magnolia Parks that I would probably like it better if I read it, because sometimes it's hard with the listening to the British accents in the audiobook. Sometimes I'm like, I might appreciate this more if I was reading it. I don't know. Also, I've heard a lot of people say that they like Daisy Hates better than they like Magnolia Parks. And so I'm interested to see, because I like Magnolia Parks all right, but if other people think Daisy Hates is better, excuse me, if other people think that Daisy Hates is better, I'm interested to see like what that's about. So I'm excited to read that this month. All right, the next book that I want to read this month, I also don't have a physical copy of. This one I've already borrowed on Libby, and I'm going to read it in my Kindle. It's My Roommate is a Vampire, right? Yeah, My Roommate is a Vampire. That's the title. I said it right. I don't know a whole lot about this one, but I saw the cover and obviously heard the title one. I was like, oh, that sounds cute. And I am a sucker for vampire romance. I'm a Twilight girly at my core. But I'm excited to read this one. It also like reminded me of like, the cover reminded me of like these vampire novels I used to read when I was a kid. Like, I think they were like twins. Anyways, that was what the cover was reminding me of. And I like, you know, that kind of like blending of like the modern world with like fantasy creatures, etc. But I'm excited to read this one. Looks like a fun like rom-com sort of thing. Okay, the next two I want to read this month, I have physical copies of, and I'll show them to you both at once because they're both for class. But I'm including them because, okay, it's Antony and Cleopatra and the Merry Wives of Windsor. I have to read both of these for my Shakespeare class. Obviously, I have the Arden editions because they're the best. If you have to do like intensive like Shakespeare like study, you should buy the Arden, the third edition of the Arden. Though the footnotes are great, and then also there's these awesome like prefaces and introductions for any of the books. When I was in the Comedy of Errors, we had that as our script, and then we also made Q scripts. But definitely, if you need to read Shakespeare, get the Arden series. Yeah, so a comedy and a tragedy feels pretty fitting for February. I'm excited. I've never read either one of these. These weren't the ones that you had to read in high school, so I'm excited to read these and find out more about them. Okay, next book on my list is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I have the dust jacket. I just don't like them on my shelves, so this one doesn't have its dust jacket right now, but look how pretty the front is. I read Divine Rivals back in November. I'm excited to read this. I'm very nervous for Roman, but very excited as well. So this is definitely getting read this month. All right, and then another that is on my list for February, it's The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is the first one of hers that I've read. I have already started this because I like couldn't resist. I love the idea of like time travel. I was a Doctor Who kid, so anytime something's like, oh, time travel, I'm like, time travel. Anyways, I think this is really cute. It's kind of, if you watch Doctor Who, you know that one episode where like Amy gets like left behind and like then she's like stuck in like a different timeline and she ages. I don't know, like it's sort of, I feel like the room, like the apartment is kind of maybe like that. I don't know. Haven't gotten very far into it, but I'm really excited to read this one. So those are all of the books I want to read in February. I'm very excited to read them. And like I said, February is one of my favorite months of the year. And I love like the romance, pink, purple, like hearts, candy vibes. I'm gonna have my 22nd birthday on February 21st, and I'm really excited. We're having a Taylor Swift party, obviously, because I'm turning 22. But I'm very excited about what I'm reading this month and what I'm doing this month, and I hope you all have a great February. And if you like this video, comment, subscribe, like it, and follow me on my other social media platforms, my TikTok, my Instagram, etc. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed making it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!